Managing the costs of cystic fibrosis is a challenge for every family. It affects people no matter their income, insurance, or health. Whether it's paying for health insurance, CF care, or all the other everyday needs, these costs add up. Here's what research tells us. Almost everyone with cystic fibrosis has at least one form of health insurance, but it's often not enough. Medical costs force people with CF to make difficult trade-offs, and the cost of CF care often impacts many different parts of an individual or family's budget. To understand what these costs look like in real life, we can learn from the experiences people living with CF and their families share. The quotes featured in this presentation come from a study by the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Here's how some people described their experience with costs that add up.
What I've learned from when I was growing up, because I did come from a background of low-income households, it was very much a challenge for my family to afford food, medication, then taking off a lot of time from work and school for the hospital visits and things of that nature. For the first few years, my insurance was covering everything and it was like free. We're like, wow, this is crazy because this medication costs $300,000. And then that led to it being like $15 a month and thinking, you know what, we'll pay this. This is definitely life-saving. However, the last bill that I got last month, it jumped up to $120. That cost for me was a wake-up call. That's a burden for me. After we got down to one worker in the home, I had to start paying for insurance. Instead of paying $50 a month, now I started to pay $850 a month, and that was a big leap.
Others describe how CF is always a consideration when making financial decisions and how trade-offs are common when there is only so much to go around.
You know, this disease is very expensive. Like just the eating alternatively is already hard and expensive. And then the bills just came in and it was like, no, I can't afford to have this disease. My team did not update me, which I really wish they had at the time. I also wish I had just been open to saying, hey, I can't afford this. I wish you guys would help me. They kind of felt more like parents that were always disappointed in me. When I go see them, they'd be like, well, you were supposed to come back 3 months ago, but then now it's been 6 months. What happened? Almost like kind of accusatory. It wasn't in a place where I felt safe enough to be like, hey, I don't have money. I can't come in. We use the copay assistance card, but the copay assistance card is only maybe like $16,000 for the year. So I remember having, and still sometimes we have, to pick which months we can afford the medication.
Finally, here are a few examples of how people explained their efforts to address the costs of CF.
So I tried to have a savings account so that if I have to go into the hospital for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and I'm missing pay or something, I'll still be able to pay my bills. I'll just have to pull it from my savings and put it back, when I'm able to. So, yeah, at first it was a challenge, the transition from, being younger, an adolescent, to an adult and trying to navigate things and trying to figure things out. Like this week alone, I've had 3 doctor's appointments where it's like I had to shift clients around and I had to change my schedule around. And at a job that's like 9 to 5, that's not going to be an easy to do thing. And I've had really good experience with this boss. But when I think about switching jobs and I think about going to new places, new career places, sometimes that's where CF gets in the way. I'm sure, like, if I were to try it, I might be surprised by what's out there and what's available. But I do think for me, that's maybe one of the biggest ways that CF holds me back in my career is this idea of like, I need flexibility. We're one earner. I was a school teacher, right? So when I mentioned that it was expensive, then all of a sudden it was, oh, we have opportunities that you can get copay assistance stuff. And you could reach out to this company and you could reach out to that company. Where has this been for 7 years? Nobody ever said anything to us until I mentioned that it was expensive.
Living with CF isn't easy. It can take a physical, emotional, and social toll, and managing the high costs of treatment and care can feel overwhelming, but no one is in this alone. If you or a loved one need help addressing the high costs of CF care, talk to your care team and connect with a case manager with CF Foundation Compass at 844-COMPASS. They offer free one-to-one help with understanding insurance options and coverage, finding available financial resources, and navigating other life issues.